Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Cop killed in highway crash identified. The policeman who died in Saturday night's crash on the North-South Highway in St. Anne has been identified. He is Constable Donald Carr, 36 of the St. Andrews South Police Division. Reports are that Carr was driving a motor car on the highway about 8 p.m. when he lost control of the vehicle and it overturned in a ditch near Golden Grove. Carr and the female passenger were taken to hospital, where the lawman later died and the woman admitted in serious condition. Police High Command offers condolences to family of man who died in St. Anne crash. The Police High Command has offered condolences to the family, friends and colleagues of a police constable who was involved in a fatal collision in the North-South Highway on Saturday. The force's Chaplaincy Branch and Welfare Department are providing support to the family members, friends and colleagues of Constable Carr. Police Federation Chairman takes government toll operators to task over highway crash response. Chairman of the Police Federation, Corporal Ron James, is lambasting the government and the toll operators of the North-South Highway for instituting roadblocks that hampered efforts to transport a wounded policeman and a female to seek medical attention following a motor vehicle crash. Constable Donald Carr, 36, later died at the St. Anne's Bay Hospital after succumbing to injuries he sustained in the traffic accident on Saturday. It is understood that the deceased cop and the injured woman were at the crash scene for some time before they were assisted. While members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF are reportedly in a somber mood, others are militant, according to James, due to toll operators refusing to allow the police to exit the toll without paying. When the officers entered the toll road, they managed to pick up the victims, and upon seeking to exit the toll operators refused to allow them through, the Federation chairman said. Consequently, our officers had to breach the barriers in order to make their way to the hospital, which we make no apologies for, and we will continue to do what is in the best interest of any citizen's well-being, he added. Despite the Jamaica Defence Force having unlimited access to the toll road, members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force have no such privilege under the Toll Road Act. James is urging the government and the relevant authorities to facilitate such a provision to allow the police unfettered access to the toll road. Since I have taken over as chairman, based on the incidents that have occurred on the highway, affecting our membership and also accessibility in relation to treating the members of the force, I am asking for the government and by extension, the Minister of Transport and through our Minister of National Security to endeavor to afford accessibility to police units so that we can get treated with complaints unfettered, James said. To date, that has not happened. The Toll Road Act has not facilitated such a provision. It is time for the government to desist from tying the hands of police officers and allow them to carry out their functions in a manner that is befitting the people of Jamaica, James continued. Meanwhile, James said the incident has left some officers feeling militant because we believe that the government has not only failed us as an organization and law enforcement agency, but they have failed the citizens of Jamaica. We have been pleading to the government to give us use of the requisite support in our quest to bring about law enforcement and to ensure we enforce the laws of the land consistent with the exception of the citizens, he added. The Police Federation chairman expressed frustration too at what he said was a refusal of the government to provide law enforcers with the basic necessity to operate at an efficient level. It cannot continue, and it will not continue, because I am not going to sit down as the chairman and allow the government of Jamaica to compromise the safety and security of the people of this country. Enough is enough, declared James. Landlord charged for firearms seized in St. Thomas. 36-year-old Ricardo Francis, otherwise called Landlord, a truck driver of 11 miles in Bull Bay, St. Thomas, was charged in connection with an illegal firearm and 10 rounds of ammunition that were seized during an operation in his community on Thursday, April 28. Reports from the Yellows Police are that about 6:30 a.m., lawmen were in the area when a premises occupied by Francis was searched and the firearm and ammunition found inside a speaker box that was in his possession. He was subsequently taken into custody and later charged with illegal possession of firearm and ammunition. His court date is being arranged. Female teen charged with housebreaking and larceny. A 17-year-old girl was charged with housebreaking and larceny after she allegedly broke into a relative's house in Longwood, Clarendon. Reports are that on Tuesday, April 26, the teen's cousin securely locked her dwelling house and left. Whilst driving home 2 days later, the teen was seen walking along the roadway and was offered a ride. While inside the vehicle, she was seen with a laptop and cellular phone that did not belong to her. She was taken to the police station. The officers on duty responded and took the complainants to her home, where the back door was found broken and the lock damaged. Several electronic items, cash and clothing were missing. The laptop and cellular phone were identified by the teen's cousin as the items that were stolen from her house. The teen was subsequently charged and is awaiting court date arrangement. FLA says it now has 1-minute background checks. It now takes about 1 minute for the Firearm Licensing Authority FLA to know if individuals applying for firearms are criminals or not, according to CEO Shane Dallin. We have improved our security infrastructure in the Criminal Records Office, where the individual coming in for applications as well as renewal are fingerprinted, and we know the result of their criminal backgrounds in 1 minute. Therefore, we are able to decipher between the good and the bad at the point of the application we receive at the FLA, he said, adding that the authority will be working closely with the Criminal Investigations Branch of the Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF to provide a more effective service. Dallin was speaking at Friday's official opening of the FLA's Northern Regional Office in Discovery Bay, St. Anne. We have had to wait for a criminal report that sometimes takes 3 to 6 months to be received by the FLA, so this is a vast improvement, he noted. Earlier this year, the Bellingham licensing body made headlines for weeks after Dallin called a press conference to address accusations he said were being leveled at him in relation to the approval and rejection of firearm license. He accused former FLA chairman Dennis Meadows of being behind social media posts that questioned his integrity. The rhetoric ratcheted up to a notch when the Integrity Commission released a damning report in which it suggested that Meadows could face charges for his role in the granting of firearms license to a relative. The Commission also concluded that while he was the minister in charge of the FLA, the opposition People's National Party's Peter Bunting gave approval for the granting of firearm license to 2 individuals with criminal traces. Bunting served as Security Minister between 2012 and 2016. The special report covered the period 2016 to 2018 and found that another former National Security Minister, the Jamaica Labour Party's Robert Montague, only granted firearm permits to 6 people with criminal traces while he was minister between 2016 and 2018. Montague subsequently resigned from his job as minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation and has insisted that he did nothing wrong. Bunting, who is a leader of opposition business in the Senate and PNP spokesman on national security, refused to tender his resignation on the ground that he too did nothing wrong. On Friday, Dallin cited the reduced wait time for background checks among recently made major improvements in the FLA's effort to determine the eligibility of applicants. Speaking during the event, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Chang stressed the importance of FLA's duty to ensure only those with clean slates are granted gun license. The FLA will ensure that those who seek to acquire a firearm are law-abiding citizens that want to protect themselves or are involved in sporting activities such as bird shooting. Once any man is found with an illegal gun, we will ensure that we put them away for a very long time, as these guns cannot be used for anything good but to take the lives of Jamaicans. Illegal firearm is the greatest threat to our society today, so we have to send a message that this form of behavior will not be tolerated, said Chang. Assistant Commissioner of Police for Area 2, Calvin Allen, spoke of the important role of the FLA plays in the fight against crime. This entity is vital in the safety and security of our citizens. We recognize the enormous responsibility of this entity, and we are aware of the effects of the handling of the firearm. More stringent control of firearm commerce is evident as the FLA continues to strengthen and tighten the entire process as they regulate with purpose, he said. Therefore, The FLA will remain that vital entity in our continued fight against criminal elements as we seek to make our country safe. The Discovery Bay office is the fourth to be established since the FLA's inception in 2006. Dallin explained that it will serve residents in Falmouth, Trelawney, St. Anne and St. Mary who previously had to travel to either Kingston or Montego Bay. As part of the national security, we must offer security, privacy and convenience to our stakeholders, he said. FLA Chairman, retired Colonel R.D. Carter, assured that the services provided by the Discovery Bay office will be on par with that offered at any other locations. He also urged employees to maintain their integrity at all times. Don't be tempted to lose your integrity because a small level of remuneration, but more so, count your blessings. Be reminded that when you do wrong, you don't just let down yourself, but also your team members when you allow yourself to fall, he urged. Government looking for a partner to help revive rail service, says Shaw. The Minister of Transport and Mining, Audley Shaw, says the government is actively looking for investors to join in reviving the island shuttled rail service. Shaw has argued that the revival of the rail network is crucial to the country's economic growth. He made that remark on Wednesday during his contribution to the 2022-2023 sectoral debate in the House of Representatives. Now is the time to capitalize in order to have vibrant economic growth. Movement of people and cargo across the island is essential to achieving this, Shaw commented. He disclosed that he had formal proposal of interest from at least 2 overseas entities to assist in revitalizing the service. He said one of his top priorities as minister is to ensure that Jamaica's rail service is put back on track. The minister pointed to the pilot student passenger rail service project, which he said was successfully implemented in January to provide safe and cost-effective transportation to students from Old Harbour and Linstead to Spanish Town, St. Catherine, and an integrated multimodal transport system. 6 schools participated in the program, where the trains carried more than 66% of their capacity, transporting 16,683 students at a combined total of 2 round trips per day during the course of the pilot. Options to open up the service to the general commuting public are currently being explored as we approach the summer months where schools will be closed, Shaw said. He said the government was currently in pursuit of the rehabilitation of the rail infrastructure and the operation of a tourist train service from Montego Bay to Upperton Estate by a private investor, which will facilitate the growth and development of Jamaican economy and enhance the quality of Jamaica's tourism product. Further to this, reconstruction of the rail infrastructure from Kingston to Spanish Town is a critical next step for development. In order for this to be achieved, the Sandy Gully Railway Bridge will have to be rehabilitated. This will indeed require partnership with the National Works Agency, among others, said Shaw. He said his ministry was actively pursuing queries about moving fringe on the active line in the Wildaco corridor, as the railway's ability to transport large volume of goods over long distances, typically unimpeded by traffic congestion, makes it the cheapest form of land transportation, which contributes significant economic value in reducing transport costs. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.